I'll be demonstrating how to make a heel flap for your cuff down sock using the magic loop. Here on my anatomy of a sock, the blue area is the heel flap. So to make the heel flap, you knit the cuff, and then the heel flap is worked over half of the stitches. So if I turn this way, you can see that the heel flap just is this blue area and worked over half of the stitches. We will no longer be knitting in the round, but it is flat knitting. So now I'll demonstrate how to get there. Here I have a very abbreviated cuff here, and I am ready to make my heel flap. The different thing about making the heel flap is that we are going to construct it over the back needle, or actually the last half of the round that we just knit. So to do that, we are going to knit back and forth flat style, and we are going to have to abandon the magic loop method for a little bit. So we're going to take the front needle and slide it out, which is the exact opposite of what we have been doing. And that brings us to the stitch we just finished working. And we're going to go ahead and work the first row of our heel flap. Now there are plenty of patterns that you can use to make your heel flap. There is a slip stitch heel pattern, there is the eye of partridge. Some designs may have you continue the leg over the heel flap, and it doesn't matter what your pattern calls for, you'll just want to follow these steps for the magic loop. So today I'm just going to be purling across row 1 of my heel flap, and when I get to the end of this row of the heel flap, then we are going to turn it as we would in flat knitting and continue to knit back and forth in the design required by our pattern. So here I am, the last heel flap stitch, and now I just go ahead and turn my work and I will begin knitting. Now I'm on the right side of my sock. The last row was worked on the wrong side, so now I'll go ahead and I said I would do the slip stitch heel, for example. So we slip a stitch and then knit a stitch, slip, knit, and we do this all the way across the row. So no matter what your pattern is, generally a heel flap is worked over half the number of stitches. You knit it flat back and forth, building up that area. So that will be for the your heel to rest against the back of your shoe. And you can choose lots of different designs, either for comfort or for just their pretty design. Now here I am, worked across that row in my right side row pattern, and then I turn and I just continue in the same manner, working a wrong side row, working a right side row until I build my heel flap up until it gets to the number of rows required by the pattern. Happy knitting!